Welcome back to my review series of The Mandalorian. Today I'm taking a look at episode 7 called The Reckoning, and this actually finally returns to the main storyline of the season. Now, in my reviews of the past 3 episodes, I actually only disliked one of them. I still liked episodes 4 and 6 quite a bit, but it is nice that we actually are getting back to the storyline that the first 3 episodes started. And, we are not continuing with fillers, sidetracks, that kind of stuff. I will say, if you missed any of the videos that I did before this one, there's a link in the description down below. It is important to know what I said about those episodes going into this, so I recommend you check them out if you haven't already. But the thing is, I've been saying this for a couple of videos now, Din needs to deal with the guild, and Din now finally realizes that, and he is like, okay, let's deal with this. He is contacted by Greef Karga, they have a plan, but before they really can go through with the plan, Din needs to assemble the Avengers. I mean, Cara Dune and Kuill, and by extension also IG-11, who all of a sudden is going to be very important for the remainder of the season and actually the show going forward. Now, is it just me, or when Din goes to Cara to recruit her, does the introduction scene remind you a little bit of Raiders of the Lost Ark when Marion is introduced? I feel it's very similar. But once they're all together on the Razor Crest, they're off to Nevarro. Cara and Din have a bit of arm wrestling, and this is when Grogu force chokes Cara, which in a way is really cute, but also what the hell are you doing? He's just trying to protect Din. But this is the first time that Grogu actually shows his powers to other people than Din. Also later in the episode, when Grogu force heals Greef, it's okay, he's actually showing off to other people now what he can do, and this will get him a lot of attention, of course, and make him even cuter than he was already. Because let's be fair, every time that Grogu does any kind of force related stuff, it's to protect Din and the people around him. So it's so cute. But the group meets with Greef and his people. Grogu does his force heal thing after they have an attack with some creatures on Nevarro. Greef kills the guards, and the thing is, I am not really all that invested in much of this episode like I was before. I remember the first time that I was watching this episode, I didn't know what was going to come, so I was very locked in, following along, oh my god, they're getting attacked, and force uses from Grogu are impacting the episode and whatnot, and at this point you're over halfway through the episode already, and I'm just waiting for the confrontation with Gideon. I know it's coming. I just feel upon rewatch, it's not as interesting to me to see the build-up. There's not a lot of tension, especially considering I know the payoff. And honestly, I feel the payoff is kind of weak. And I'm not a big fan of what happens at the beginning of the next episode, how that ties into it. So upon rewatch, this episode is not as good to me. One thing I do realize upon rewatch is essentially how smart Gideon really is, and how he was able to keep himself and everything that he had on Nevarro hidden. Because, of course, we know the town in this season, and that, the client is there doing his stuff with Dr. Pershing, but Gideon is never in the picture over there, and Greef doesn't know about him. Greef is oh, it's just 4 stormtroopers and a couple in town, but that's about the extent of it. And then when Gideon shows up with his full army, he's well, it's more, what can I tell you? Greef really didn't know anything about Gideon, and I mean, that's just credit to Gideon, because yeah, Gideon is a smart cookie, and he knows how to make sure that he kept himself hidden up until the giant reveal at the end of this episode. So, at long last, at the end of the episode, the group meets with, initially the client, but then, of course, shit happens. Gideon actually then reveals himself with his entire army. That doesn't include just a whole lot of stormtroopers, but it also includes some death troopers, and Gideon also has some pretty cool armor on, so it's okay, there you go. And he's played by Giancarlo Esposito, who I know mainly as a bad guy actor in everything. The first time I saw him in anything was in Breaking Bad as the bad guy. Then after I saw him in this, he was also in The Boys as an antagonistic character. Not necessarily the villain, but he was definitely antagonistic. So all of that was just like, okay, this guy is just the greatest bad guy in history of bad guys. At least one of them. I do think Giancarlo Esposito plays a very good bad guy in everything that he is in. But yeah, the thing is, they did a switcheroo with Grogu. Grogu is actually with Kuill, but Kuill can't reach the Razor Crest in time and gets shot down. And the thing is, the first time that I saw the episode, I was nearly in tears when I saw Kuill being shot down. I was like, oh my god, he died, and what is going to happen now? If you know what happens in the next episode, none of this is nearly as impactful as the first time you see it, because the first time you watch this episode, you don't know what's going to happen. But if you know, oh yeah, no, IG-11 is going to come in and take care of everything without much of an issue, and they win, and it's cool, it's like, huh. So yes, Kuill does die, and that is a sad moment, and we need to acknowledge that, sure. It's just everything else around it is like, I'm not the biggest fan of this episode on rewatch, and that's pretty much what I have to say about The Reckoning. Heck, I prefer Reckoning of Andor Season 1. Remember that Andor Season 1 Episode 3 was called Reckoning? Now that is a great episode. This episode pales in comparison, and the funny thing is, this is actually one of the highest rated episodes of the entire show. It has a 9 on IMDb, but that's pretty much everyone who voted on the episode right after they saw it for the first time. Like, yeah, if you watch it the first time, it's very impactful. If you watch it several times and then I watch it years later, I'm like, I know everything that's about to happen in the next episode. I'm not as impressed by this episode anymore. I'm sorry. So, yeah, The Reckoning, Episode 7 of The Mandalorian. Not the biggest fan of it anymore. It's kind of sucks. I actually prefer the previous episode over this one. I think the previous episode holds up better than this one, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, that is enough of what I have to say. I'm curious what you have to say. I'm curious if people agree with me, like, yeah, upon rewatch, this is not the best episode, or you're like, okay, upon rewatch, I still like this one, it still holds up. Please let me know why in the comments below. If you liked the video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more Star Wars content. I'm actually currently live building the UCS Venator Lego set, which is a really cool set so far. I'm not done yet, so if you want to tune in to watch me build that, subscribe to the channel and make sure to also hit the notification bell to make sure that you're notified every time that I go live. And of course, until my next video, may the Force be with you.